Tools and Twisties, another Harbor Freight parking lot sale. Buy this, skip that edition. If you didn't get a chance to see my previous video, I'll put a link to it right there, and you can check out some of my recommendations from a few days ago on what to buy and what to skip on the Harbor Freight. And I'm going to focus primarily on this 35% off pliers and screwdrivers. I think that's the some of the best deals, and I tend to focus on hand tools, and that's what I'm going to talk about mostly today. So a couple of things that I planned on picking up and decided to skip on were a lot of these Quinn pliers. I really like some of the Quinn tools. I did a review fairly recently on the 3/8 inch master socket set and compared it to the Icon, and I thought it was a great tool. Those were all made in Taiwan. The ratchets were great. The problem I had with these Quinn tools, they're pretty inexpensive, but they were Chinese manufacturer. So with the Quinn stuff, you have to sort of look carefully and see whether or not it's Chinese or Japanese or Chinese or Taiwanese manufacturer. And I prefer Taiwanese. I think Taiwanese tools are excellent. Japanese tools are excellent. German, USA, a lot of tools are excellent. Chinese tools are a mixed bag, so I tend to skip them when I can. Same with this Quinn high voltage electrical pliers, 1000 volt rated. 18 bucks is a great deal, but when I picked them up, I saw that they were in fact Chinese instead of Taiwanese, and I gave them a miss. So what else? I talked about maybe giving a miss to the Icon screwdriver set. It's an 8-piece screwdriver set. List price is 50 bucks. I think at the list price of 50 bucks, it is definitely a miss. You know, it's more like 32 bucks on sale. And as you can see, I picked up a set. I've handled these before. I don't love the handles. They're not my favorite. It is made in Taiwan. It's not a bad deal at 32 bucks. But I use screwdrivers a lot. You can see manufactured in Taiwan. And I kind of prefer spending a little bit more and maybe either getting the Wihas, which are made in Germany, and I really like these Wiha screwdrivers, or the Vessels made in Japan. Both excellent screwdrivers with excellent tips. And you know, I'm going to open these in a little bit, and I'll use them a little bit more and see what I think. It's mostly the handles that I don't love, but you can even see, I know you're looking through the packaging, but the tips just aren't nearly as nice on these as they are on the German and Japanese drivers. So that's sort of still a maybe in my book, but I went ahead and bought them anyway. So the next thing on my list, there's the Vessels, 53 bucks, but a super high quality set. It's a set you can have for a lifetime, and I think really enjoy. Next thing I picked up were these Icon little mini Torx drivers, and they're pretty cheap, 10 bucks, 15 bucks, 10 bucks on sale. They're pretty limited in size. I think they only go up to T20 or something. It's just 4 of them. The handles are really small. They don't feel great. You know, 10 bucks is pretty inexpensive. So if you don't have any Torx drivers and you don't use much larger Torx drivers, maybe it's something to consider. But you know, it's something that is not a must buy on my list. As an example, you know, here is the Wiha. They're very similar to these Wiha screwdrivers, but they make a Torx set as well with Torx bits on them. And it's a 6-piece set for 30 bucks, so it's not very expensive to get, you know, made in Germany, super high quality Wiha Torx set. So I think it makes these Icons, yeah, 10 bucks versus 30, but nevertheless, it's a bigger set, bigger sizes, and I think it's probably worth going for the Icons, unless you really just don't use Torx very often. Next up, I picked up these Doyles. I didn't have a lot of Doyle tools, and I did check country of origin on almost all the Doyle tools that I saw were made in Taiwan, so I like seeing that. And I looked at these tweezer pliers. 5 bucks, pretty cheap. I have some similar tools to this. I don't know how quickly I can get this open, but I have some crescents that are very similar. Oh, they're nice. They're spring-loaded. They have a nicely textured grip. Here's the crescents as an example. Actually, the spring loading, you know, the grip is a little bit gummier on the Doyles, which is actually kind of nice. They stay in your hands. These are slightly slippery in terms of the tips on them. Pretty similar. I can't remember where these crescents are made. Usually it only says on the packaging. My guess is they're made in Taiwan too. wouldn't be terribly surprised if they came out of the same factory, although they do look a fair bit different. But these little micro pliers come in handy quite a bit, and so for $5, I think that's a buy. Pick a set of those up if you don't have something like that. Next up, I bought the adjustable soft jaw pliers. 16 bucks on sale. Another Doyle, another made in Taiwan. It's sort of a combination of two tools I already have. It's a combination of the Cobra pliers and these Senota soft grip pliers. But the nice thing about this particular one, and again, I probably should open some of these in advance because they're not super friendly for opening quickly. But the nice thing about these is that unlike, these Senotas are nice, but they're only a 2 position. So, that's kind of as wide as they go. Whereas these have the Cobra style, and you can get on something quite big with that. So I thought that these soft jaws might come in handy. The jaws are replaceable, though, for the Harbor Freight, for the Doyles. I'm not sure how easy it is. I didn't notice if they had replacement jaws in the store. But just picking these up, they actually look pretty nice. They're nicely made. They feel good in my hand. The adjustment mechanism is super smooth. I like them. Pick things up with them pretty good. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, they got a little give to them. Yeah, so I think those are 16 bucks on sale. I think that's another buy for me. What's next? I bought the Senota flat nose assembly screwdrivers, 8 bucks, made in Taiwan. And these are very similar to another pair of pliers I have, the Senotas. The Senotas are really nice. And the Senotas aren't terribly expensive either. Senotas are, I think they're 17 bucks. So, 17 bucks versus 8 bucks, it's more than twice the price. But boy, the feel and the machining and the manufacturing in these two Senotas is really super nice. Made in Japan, made in Taiwan. We'll see. I'll open these up and I'll play with them a little bit more and see what I think. Size is very similar. The jaws on the Senotas are much longer. You can see how the Doyle jaw just sort of starts right there. So there's not as much gripping surface on them. But we'll see. We'll see what they're like. Fairly inexpensive tools, so we're good with them. Next up, I talked about maybe picking up these Doyle demolition screwdrivers, 650. Haven't taken them out of the box yet. Again, made in Taiwan, striking caps on them. I mean, these are not going to be my precision screwdrivers. These are going to be sort of my, use them like a pry bar, bang on them, beat on them screwdrivers. And for $6.50, I think it's nice to have them. I have some old Craftsman screwdrivers that I sort of use for that purpose now. I don't like to beat on my nice screwdrivers. So we'll take a look at these. We'll get them out of the package and let you know what you think. $6.50, hard to go wrong. Likewise, these super long, and these were sort of an impulse buy. These are made in China, but these are Pittsburgh super long demolition screwdrivers. They have an acetate handle. I plan on, it's a number 4 Phillips. I don't have any number 4 Phillips that aren't on socket, so don't need a number 4 Phillips very often. But I thought I'd give these a try. Again, $7. I plan on using them mostly as pry bars. We'll see if they're super soft and if they start bending and I end up going through several of them. They're a lifetime warranty, but I have these Craftsman made in the USA pry bars, but they have a bent tip, and sometimes I don't want a bent tip, and I don't really have a version of this with a flat tip or for an alignment screwdriver. It does say chrome vanadium on them. I didn't really see a country of origin, super small print. I'll have to look more carefully. Maybe even get out some magnifier and see if you can see it in there. At any rate, I don't have high expectations for these, but $7 beater tools. So then there was the stuff that I recommended previously. The Icon version of the Snap-on. These are great. 29 bucks normally, 20 bucks on sale. I use these and the Snap-ons interchangeably. I'm quite happy with both of them. Similarly, the Icon needle nose pliers versus the Snap-on, very similar, and you know, a heck of a lot less expensive. These are 13 bucks, and I can't remember what these are on the Snap-on website, but probably 60, 65 bucks, something like that. The handles are similar. The machining is nice. The jaw fit is good on both of them. So yeah, I think that's a buy if you don't already have some. Likewise, the Icon version of the Knipex twin grips, very similar. The Icon one on sale is 16 bucks. The Knipex one is, I don't know, something like 30, 35 bucks. So it's a lot cheaper. Yeah, you know, these are nice pliers to have, and they have you know, nice adjustability to them. You can open them up and get a much bigger fitting in there. And the last one was the Icon diagonal cutters. Again, clone of the Snap-on diagonal cutters. Very close. The Snap-ons are actually nicer, but you know, 4 or 5 times the price. So at any rate, you know, the sale is going on right now through the weekend. 35% off all pliers and screwdrivers for all the Icon brands. And you know, I picked up some Doyle stuff. That was sort of my haul this week, was a bunch of Doyle stuff, and I'm excited to, you know, get a closer look and use some of this stuff. I haven't used a lot of the Doyle. I've used a fair bit of the Icon, some of the Pittsburgh, but not a lot of the Doyle stuff. And the Quinn stuff, again, if you want to buy the Quinn stuff and it matters to you, take a look at country of origin on it. The stuff I saw in the pliers was largely made in China, as opposed to their sockets and ratchets, which are often made in Taiwan, and I think much nicer. So that's you know, what I recommend maybe you buy, what you skip at the Harbor Freight sale. Give me a comment below if you want to see reviews on anything else from Harbor Freight or my Amazon tool hauls. We're going to have some upcoming in-depth reviews of Koken products, Koken sockets, Koken ratchets. We're going to do some more Astro stuff. We're going to do some Crom tools coming up. So like and subscribe if you want to see all those. The channel is growing super fast, and I really appreciate all your support. Looking forward to 2,000 subscribers we're coming up on, so help me get there. We'll have another giveaway coming up very shortly. And that is Tools and Twisties, and we are out.